So welcome back to another video, everyone, and all the new viewers that recently followed me. Hope you guys enjoy what you see. Today we're going to talk about Monsters, Inc., a classic Pixar movie that a lot of people love. I remember we had a VHS copy of it, and it was actually, instead of a black VHS like you'd normally see, it was blue. And that was totally cool to me for some reason. And it still blows my mind. It's kind of like how the Rugrats movies were all orange. Sort of like that. So, you got all those fond memories of that kind of stuff. And it just blows your mind when you think about it when you're older. So this is directed by Pete Docter. It's from 2001, an animated family comedy. Stars John Goodman, and if you follow my Instagram, you last saw him in the awful Transformers Age of Extinction, even though I think I gave it a pretty high grade just because it fixed some of the issues I had with the first three movies. He stars as James P. Sullivan, or Sully, Billy Crystal as Mike Wazowski, John Ratzenberger, last seen as Ham in the Toy Story series, as you all are aware, as the Abominable Snowman. This one surprised me. I don't know how I didn't know this. Steve Buscemi as Randall Boggs. First of all, I didn't even know Randall had a last name until I googled this, so that's pretty cool. And number two, Steve frickin' Buscemi is in this? What? I don't know, man. That just kind of shocks me. It shouldn't, but it's Steve frickin' Buscemi, so that's pretty cool. Uh, Mary Gibbs as Boo. Another casting that shocked me. Jennifer Tilly as Celia. And when I was watching it, I started to hear it more. I heard the Bonnie Swanson voice. I heard the Jennifer Tilly from The Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. Blew my mind. James Coburn, not James Corbin, James Coburn as Henry J. Waternoose III, and Bob Peterson as probably everyone's favorite character, Roz. You know, the I guess the scare room clerk. I'm not sure what her job is. Has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. It feels pretty earned. Yeah. And with a budget of 115 million, it made 577.4 million at the box office. That's damn good. So obviously this is one of the best Pixar movies. It didn't need a sequel slash prequel that it ended up getting in 2013. I'm not looking at that anytime soon. I don't even own it. Obviously it's on Disney Plus, but I didn't really care for it. And it's best Pixar movie. That's really all this week has been. I mean, even if some of the Toy Story movies are unnecessary, like Part 4, it's still good. And that's a lot of what this week is, and as always. I mean, when you're talking about Pixar, I can't think of one bad movie that I don't enjoy. Maybe Brave, but I'm not the target audience for that. I've never actually sat down and watched the full movie. But, just because I'm not the target audience for it doesn't mean I'm not going to find something I like about it. I'm definitely not the target audience for Tangled, but I still found something I liked about it. So that's not to say that I wouldn't, if I were to watch Brave, I wouldn't find something to enjoy. This, I was 2, I think, when this movie came out, and yeah, obviously, target audience at that age, probably not. But as I got older, when we got it, I would watch it all the time, along with the Toy Story movies. A lot of other ones that we own on VHS. My brothers and sisters will tell you that we watched this one quite a lot. And I think our grandmother ended up giving us this for Christmas one year. I don't know. But I didn't even use the DVD. I used the Disney Plus version just because it was easier than getting off my lazy bum. So I don't know if this still works. I really hope it does. I probably should have just done it. To make a long story short, the reason the Toy Story 4 video was as maybe wacky and zany as it was, with that dumb intro I did. I'm trying some new stuff, just to kind of spice up the videos a little bit. And I was extremely exhausted. I went to work with my mother yesterday, and she works as a greeting card manager. And I never realized how much work that is. It doesn't sound like a lot of work, but my legs are dead right now. So I was extremely tired and just in the strangest mood when I did all of that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully I can come up with some more things like that. Um, I couldn't think of anything for this one. I don't know why. I probably could have if I tried a little harder, but to be honest, I was looking at the time, I'm like, I need to record a video. So let's talk kind of about all the logistical stuff. You know, the stuff I keep on this little poorly written piece of paper that I just found. It's got stuff listed on here like Rotten Tomatoes score, music, effects, budget. You guys don't care about all that. And maybe you do. I don't know. So the voice acting is really wonderful, and honestly, I gotta say, it's no big surprise. And looking at who's in the cast and the fact that I was blown away by who was in this cast. They're people that I'm like, do I even know anything that Steve Buscemi is in? Yeah, yes, I do. I know something that Steve Buscemi is in. He's not one that I watch a lot, but yeah, apparently he's in Monsters, Inc. Jennifer Tilly. I love Family Guy. I love the Chucky series. I know this is going to get a lot of hate, but Bride of Chucky might be my favorite movie. It's funny, alright guys? It's freaking funny. Leave me be. But I love Jennifer Tilly in that. So I'm like, okay, you know what? This actually makes sense that she's in here. So obviously with that kind of a cast and John Goodman and Billy Crystal, it's no big surprise that this movie is so well acted. Story's good too. Sully trying to keep Boo away from Randall and get her home. She kind of snuck out of her room one night, and the whole, this is kind of my issue. The whole corporate espionage crap that, I mean, it's not really espionage. It's more, Randall and Waternoose are driven by corporate bullcrap. And the whole, our company's failing. Well, let's get it back up. And instead of taking advice from their workers, they jump to kidnapping a human child. I don't know. I did not write the movie. I don't know. It's just creepy and weird to me, and I don't like it. And obviously, you know, I'm watching this as I'm older, so now I pick up on all that small stuff that's like, they're trying to kidnap a child. That's far from the fluffy blue kitty from when I was a kid and the little green eyeball man. No. And I actually had stuffed animals of Mike and Sully, and I still have the Sully one somewhere in my room. I don't know whatever happened to the Mike one. I think I kind of tied his arms together and used him as a bowling ball for some reason. I don't know. I was a weird kid, man. My sister and brothers will tell you all about it. Yeah. So the animation is improving, but, you know, Pixar, that's what they do. Okay. We can't draw humans yet. Let's take a break from human characters. Creepy monsters, one human, one tiny, tiny human. And yeah, I mean, if you're like 5 watching this, a Boo could be considered the stuff of nightmares to you. I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. So as far as the flow of the film, it does flow well. But there's kind of a few points where it drags, kind of, mainly when they're with the abominable snowman. I love John Ratzenberger. I always listen for his voice in every Pixar movie. Some of are easier to spot than others just because they're probably part of the main cast, like Toy Story and this. But stuff like Inside Out and Coco, I don't know if he's even in Coco. I know what character he is in Inside Out because I've seen it a bunch of times. But Coco is kind of a different sort of Pixar movie, so it's like, where is he? And like Cars, you know, he's Mac, so he's kind of a main character. So it's either he's a main character or he's kind of one of these one-off side characters that you kind of have to find. So that kind of makes it a little difficult. But during his scene in this movie, he's trying to be comic relief during a serious moment of weird stranded in the middle of a iceberg. well, not really an iceberg per se, but Arctic area. And, you know, Sully and Mike, they're trying to have this serious moment. He's walking up, hey, you guys want some snow cones? They're lemon. I know they're yellow. It's not piss, it's lemon. You know, it was probably piss. Let's be honest. He peed in those and tried to get Mike and Sully to eat them as kind of a frat prank, most likely. That's how my Monsters Inc. would go. But as we said, I'm a weird dude. I don't know what to tell you, man. I gotta say, my main issue, though, is definitely Randall and Waternoose. They're kind of weird characters. And like I said, the whole driven by corporate issues is stupid to me. And this is a kid's movie. Kids don't care about the happenings of a corporate Monsterville or Monstopolis. I think it's Monstopolis. Hold on. I know it's on the back of here somewhere. No, it's apparently not. I thought it was. But it's like Monstopolis or something like that. That kids don't care about that. We want action. And that last action scene when they're with the machine that like sucks the life out of somebody, again, fucking weird. But that last bit, you know, where they're in that kind of battle, it's good. And the doors, the door room always impressed me as a kid. I always wanted to go there. And we went to St. Louis when we were kids, and we wanted to go up in the arch, but because there was a tornado or something, we couldn't go. And I had a bunch of little playing cards. It was like a deck of playing cards that showed the inside of the arch and how the elevator works. And it always reminded me of the doors from Monsters Inc. and the giant room with all the doors in it that they kind of open. You go through one, slam it shut, go out another door, and you're in another area of the room. I don't know, something about that reminded me of it. I thought it was so cool, I wanted to go through it. I don't know if you can anymore. That was like 15, 16 years ago now. It's crazy how time flies. But as I said, it's kind of my major issue is that they're driven by corporate issues. And it's not a villain motivation. It's just it's more of a I'm bad at my job kind of deal where, you know, here I am, I'm running this giant corporate business and I've inherited from 2 generations, and now my generation is the one that's killing it. Instead of figuring out how to fix the problem, like in the end where they switch from scream to laughter, and that's how they're going to power Monstopolis or Monstropolis, whatever it's called. They end up kidnapping a child, hooking it up to a machine that's going to suck the life out of... I don't know. I don't know, man. That's just freaky to me. Why are you going to kidnap a kid? Oh, creepy. Creepy. So that's my main issue with it. And I think if a movie doesn't have good villains, then it's kind of a drag. Not saying that this movie is a drag because it doesn't have good villains. It's still a very well-made movie, and it's still one of the best Pixar movies, even with the issues that I have with it. But it's just, It's a huge meh on the villain department, which kind of drags it down a bit. I still highly recommend this, even though I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I know a lot of people are fans of this movie, and I don't blame you. I still am a fan of it. I'm looking at it from a perspective that's different than just watching a movie. So tomorrow we're going to look at Inside Out, which I'm excited for because that is highly regarded as Pixar at its peak, and I 100% agree with that, and I cannot wait to tell you guys about that. But before I let you go about your day, I have a few things to add. First of all, I picked up 2 movies. Jojo Rabbit, which I don't know anything about. I know that Hitler is on the cover. It's a Taika Waititi movie. I don't know. I don't know much about this movie other than Taika Waititi plays Hitler. And it's supposedly a comedy. I've never seen it, and I keep seeing it in stores, and I'm like, alright, you know what? I'll pick it up for the right price. I mean, I bought it for full price, but what's the point in waiting for it to get lower and not talk about movies that are newer? And 2019, as much as people probably hated the year of 2019, it's so much better than what we're in now. Next up, we've got Birds of Prey. I found this really cool art cover. They had this, the DVD, the 4K, and then the regular covered Blu-ray. And the both Blu-rays, this one and the one with just the normal cover on it, were $24.99. I'm like, well, I mean, it's the same price. Why not get the cooler cover? So, of course, I got the cooler cover. I mean, it even continues on the inside of it, which is awesome. I think I don't remember exactly what grade I gave Birds of Prey when I reviewed it on Instagram, but since next week is the DCEU, I do want to throw this out there just because obviously it's part of the DCEU, and I might do a video for Joker, even though I've already covered it as well, but we'll see how that goes. And finally, I'm still working on my Disney top 10 list. The thing is, I'm so over watching Disney movies, and I cannot wait until next week when we get into something a little more my speed, which is superheroes, and then the week after we're going to get into some more kind of like 80s comedy. There's 80s movies, there's some superheroes, there's some horror in there. I'm excited about that. And finally, I am going to do videos on Onward and obviously Birds of Prey, since I already bought it, and Invisible Man. I think there was one other 2020 movie I need to do a video for. I can't remember which one it is, but I am going to try and do some videos on those because I know a lot of people are like, hey, it's 2020, man. Quit talking about these old Pixar movies. Tell us about movies that already came out. Nothing's coming out. I mean, movie theaters are going to start to reopen soon as states reopen. Unfortunately, I am part of that group that's kind of scared that once the states start to reopen, that things are going to spike back up. And I really hope it doesn't, because I want to get back to the movies. Give me Halloween Kills, or give me, well, death. I mean, it's kind of there in the title. And this may surprise my siblings, because I know one of them actually subscribed to my channel, and she hasn't watched any of the videos, so maybe she'll watch this one. I am a horror fan. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm weird, all right? I know that's not how I was as a kid, but I'm not a kid anymore. I'm a grown-ass man who lives in his parents' basement and talks about movies all day long. So I guess I'm not a grown-ass man. Don't worry, I'm not a bum, people. I have a life planned, sort of. I mean, I know what I want to do. Doesn't mean I'm gonna do it. But we're not here to talk about my life, because that's a spiral you don't want to go down. I also have a list of other movies I'm gonna do reviews for. They're probably just gonna end up on Instagram. I kind of want to keep doing some on Instagram and then most of them on YouTube. That's kind of the plan anyway. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy some of those. One of them is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that came out last year in 2019, another Quentin Tarantino movie. It's actually the first Quentin Tarantino movie I've actually watched in its entirety. I couldn't sit through Pulp Fiction at 14 years old, and I have not been able to find it, even though it's like $4 at Best Buy. I still haven't picked it up just because I don't want to have to go through the hassle of, hey, this is rated R. Give me your ID. Even though, yes, this is rated R. Fun fact, apparently Target does not ID you. They probably should. And I mean, I guess I kind of look over 17, but I don't know. There's people who are my height and my build at 16, so who knows? So anyway, I highly recommend you go watch Monsters, Inc. if somehow you haven't. And I know that's one of those, like, dude, everyone's freaking seen Monsters, Inc. You'd be surprised. A lot of people also haven't seen the next two, which are Inside Out and Coco, which are other ones I highly recommend. And I'm excited to talk about those as well. So until Inside Out, until all of those things I've talked about that I've been talking about for like a month now, I am Luke, and I will see you guys later.